hope you guys are ready to see some fresh spray foam laid down. It's going to be really awesome. This stuff is really good quality. It's professional stuff. It's not like those kits you buy at the store. So it has a superior R rating, and it's more resistant towards cracking and things like that. So stay tuned. We're going to get that sprayed in, and I'll see you soon. Alright, we've got the spray in. Took about an hour and a half, and that was with them doing some cleanup. They leveled it out a little bit. There's no accidental overspray on anything. The plastic worked pretty good. The bottom is a bit crummy, but that'll come off pretty easily. Just scrape it, and then I'm repainting there anyway, so it has to cure for 24 hours. I will be able to stand on it a bit, but at the moment it could crack if I put too much pressure. So I'm gonna just be cautious, stay on the frame like usual. And yeah, they left me, fortunately, they left me one of these curry comb things, like for combing horses or something. And lets me kind of just scrape it down instead of cutting it all with an X-Acto knife. But like, let's say here, gotta cut that with an X-Acto knife for sure. But it's in really well. I'm happy. It seems pretty secure. The shower, guys, look at that. That's freaking awesome. It's been so long I've had to stare at that back wall, so just the fiberglass stuff there, so having this in definitely is something nicer to look at. The only one thing is, he actually did a pretty good job with the wires. He just had only the brake wires in at the back, and then he fed them down flat to the bottom, so I'll be able to kind of work with that with the wall that I'm going to put in. But with that being said, they are now a bit short to go to the corner, all of them except like the actual brake tail light wires, so I'm gonna have to leave them on the floor probably. We'll see how the frame and stuff fits over that, but overall pretty good. Like for example, if I put this in, it's like that. Bring this and this up, push that back. That should be pretty good, as long as I have enough space for the actual frame. If that fits, that'll be fine. And I can just leave the frame over top of the wires. I don't think it'd be too big of a deal. And then these will curl around, tuck in the corner, and then that'll go against the wall and come across. I still need to figure out how to route this. I might, maybe, I'm gonna like cut the wall. Probably should have done it before they came, but I think it matters too much. But just cut down in here like a strip, kind of something like this, right? And then I can feed the tube into it from there. So yeah, gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that, but overall it's looking really good. Spray foam's in. I'm happy. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got most of the cuts made for the subfloor. Here's the main corridor piece. I will need to make revisions, specifically, like for example on this one, once the corridor reaches the fridge, I need to make an in cut like this. I think it's an inch, and then all the way down, because the part where the fridge is in the hallway, it comes out a bit. I've got this one is for the where the dinette is. This one should be pretty perfect. And then there's quite a lot of offcuts as well. I had to get 2 pieces of ply, and you might notice that this is a really nice smooth sanded surface. I used better quality project ply. Basically, this is aspen. Aspen is also known to be pretty good against warping, temperature changes, insects, things like that. So it's a pretty good wood choice for this usage. This is 1/2 inch. The regular, just standard 1/2 inch ply that they had there was in really terrible shape. It was super knotty, it was cracking, like there was gaps, broken gaps in the pieces of ply that are glued together. This is pure bond. So I just figured I would spend the extra, what was it, like probably like $30 per sheet, which is nothing to laugh at, but it is a significant amount, but I think it's worth it. I'm also painting this, so it'll make my life easier because it's a smooth surface, and I just feel like this will be stronger because it's got a nice grain. It's not all knotty and gross and chipping and cracked. So if you've been following the project for any period of time by now, you should know that I don't take shortcuts or cheap out on things, really. Not to say that I'm the richest person, but I spend pretty much all of my money on this build. But I just think if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna do it once. So that's why I tend to save up a bit more and spend on more quality items, because this is literally my house, so I'd like it to be in good, long-lasting condition. So from here, I gotta make some revisions. We'll see how I'm gonna go about doing that. But once those are made, then we're gonna be painting it with the mold paint that just like the rest of the flooring in there, like under the bed and the shower area. And that's pretty much all that's left, really, just under the bed and in the shower. So it's all going to be matching. It'll all line up, and then I'm going to be securing it to the frame. Self-tapping screws. I need to get countersunk self-tapping screws. I got the wrong ones, so I need to return them and get the countersunk, like washer head type screws, and then that'll be pretty much it for installing the subfloor. And then from there we can get the underlayment on. So pretty much I'm just going to be putting it in, screwing it into the frame. I need to cut these out. The angle grinder. There's one there, that needs to be cut. But yeah, so I'm also probably gonna need to fill a couple spots. Like that's pretty low there, that's a bit low there, but it seems to really be it. So that's pretty good. And yeah, like I was saying, here it comes out. It's just a bit over an inch, I think, like 1.25 inches. So I need to measure that and then adjust my cut there. Yeah, so I just want to make those cuts and then see about, bringing them in for a little test fit, and then we'll paint them once we know that they fit. So let's get on it. Okay, so I've got pretty much all of the subfloor in. I just have to revise a couple little things still, just like right there. I need to trim it just because that line's not straight. And this piece that I'm standing on, I'm gonna recut it with another piece so that it's all the way across, and then I'm just gonna put a smaller piece there. This fits in with a bit of a gap, a little bit bigger than I was hoping, That's probably a 1/4 inch instead of an 1/8. But I need to put a bit of more insulation underneath just because it's a bit low there and I don't want it to drop. But this is in, fits. Cut is made here. And then a nice gap so it can expand. Here it's a little bit too big again, but this is all getting covered over regardless. So I think I need to trim the insulation like right there just a bit because it sits high. When I stand on it, it depresses. But that fits in nice and proper. So I have the cut for. I'm just gonna put one here instead of trying to make a weird thing. I just have some off cuts that'll fit. Some 1/4 round will go up on there and fix that. So I just gotta cut that, finish that, and then that'll be it. Other than here, I was gonna keep this original piece there, but I can't get that other piece of the subfloor off there. I gotta still try and remove that. So that'll have to happen as well, but it fits perfectly underneath the dinette and all that stuff, so I'm really happy with what we've got so far. Alright, so we've got all of our pieces in, even the little guys. And like I was saying, here's a good example. There's a bit of a gap here where all the corners meet. It's not super high under there, like insulation. And then right here on this corner, I have to trim that down a bit because it keeps catching on this, and it won't stay down. Like I gotta push on it. So I'm gonna trim that and this corner as well. It's like something like right. I'm actually not 100% sure where it is, but it's somewhere around here because it's lifting the board up ever so slightly. When I stand on it, it goes down. So if there was something to secure it to there, it wouldn't matter. But there's only just this one here until we get to here. And then like I've got foam board under this one right now because it was the lowest section, but it's a bit too high. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do about that. And then here it's soft because there's nothing there. There's just the bar here. So when I stand on that there, and then there's the bar here, it's strong, but it tilts side to side. Gotta add some in there, mostly here. I'd like to add just one big piece of foam board that comes across to that bar and have that leveled out, but it's hard to get a perfectly level surface because the spray foam's not flat either. So. And then here it's pretty much perfect. I actually still haven't made that cut. I should probably do that just to make sure it all fits in, but I'm gonna add, once all of them are flat, also I'm probably gonna add a bit of spray foam in the gaps just to give it somewhat of a seal, but like still flexible seal, so it can still expand and whatnot. But on the edges, I gotta leave some space, right? So we'll have to make sure we do that. But like in between the boards, we could add a little bit. Just a little bit, still needs to be able to expand. But here, super solid. This is probably the most solid piece. So, like I said, I'm gonna get these out, give them a light wash, get my dirty footprints off of them. So as usual, I'm using the Zinsser mold and mildew. This kills mold as well as prevents mold. So it's pretty awesome stuff. I really like it. so I've got 2 coats on here and here, 1 coat on these, as well as the edges. So once those are dry, flip them over, do them. I just have the smaller pieces like for the front to do still, and I actually didn't end up cutting that other little piece, so I'll have to do that once they're back in, so I know how big it needs to be exactly. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the framing for the shower as well, while I have paint. And then once these are back in, I might go over them once some more, or I'll wait till it's closer to the time when the actual flooring is going in, because I'm assuming they're gonna get kind of dirty. So right now, all I can really do is wait a bit. Trimmed up some of the edges inside with the Dremel, so they should fit a little better even now. So I'm looking forward to that, and I want to get the second coat on these at least before I leave for the store, because I don't want my paintbrush and everything to harden. So I'm gonna keep rolling it out until these are ready. Yeah, shouldn't be long though. Okay, so I'm pretty much done. Well, I am done. All of the second coats of everything, including the frame for the shower and stuff. So I'm gonna let them dry. I'm gonna clean up a bit, and then I'm gonna run to the store and get the spray foam sealant stuff just to help level out some of the little areas where it's a bit low. I'm also going to get the correct screws. I got washer head screws, and I need countersink screws, self-tapping ones. So I'm gonna see if I can go find those at Canadian Tire. They didn't have them at Home Depot, so I'm gonna go to the hardware store. I'll probably end up having to go to Home Hardware or something, but it is what it is. I also got a lot of paint on the floor, which is not good. But yeah. Alright, so I've got the 1-inch gap filler, because there's no spot where it's more than an inch, really. It's at least got like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch in there in the lowest spots, and it's only 1.5 inch, so that'll be perfect. And I found the right screws. These are self-tapping, and they are pretty much they're not a countersink, but they'll be flat, as you can see, which will be totally fine. So I'll be able to get them flat enough that when the underlayment's on, it really won't make a difference. So we're gonna get the first board in, make sure it's perfectly aligned, drill that down, and then seal that around the edges where I think it might need it. So we're gonna do that. Let's. Okay, so I decided that we're gonna start in the back so that I don't have to walk on my freshly painted stuff. I want to still let it cure a bit more, fully dry up, but also it'll get pretty dirty. So I mean, I can't really stop it from getting dirty unless I come in here only in my socks, and I change my socks every time I come in here, so let's be honest. But I just want to make sure that it's fully dry and I'm not mucking it up completely, you know? So we're starting in the back. I got the first piece in, fits perfectly. And we are gonna get these first screws in. I'm pretty nervous for some reason, because once they're in, I feel like that's that. But we're gonna go get the screws and the drill, get these first bolts in, and work our way back. It. The first board is in, and no soft spots. pretty solid back here, to be honest. It's literally just like right there, that's a bit finicky. I'm gonna have to probably do here, but it's pretty much just there and a little bit over there where that little blue dot is. So, not too bad. Board number 2 is in, super firm, really nice. I'm gonna add a little bit of this just here in this crack, just to support that little corner. It's a little lower there. It's not moving really, but I'm just gonna put it in anyway, just to make it as strong as possible. And then we're gonna move back, get this hull piece in. This one's gonna be a bit of a pain. Alright guys, it's been quite a while since I've checked in. I was just trying to get as much work done as I could, but I feel like I need to give you an update now. There's no way I can keep going without that. So this board is in, it's secured, it's great, it's sturdy. It's a little, like if I jump, I can get it to bow a tiny bit right here. So what I've been doing is screwing, like drilling a hole and then sticking the nozzle for the spray foam can in it and just letting it fill up that space. It comes out the hole a little bit, I shave it off, and then it adds a bit more support there. I had to take this out a few times, shave the edges a bit more and whatever, and there's only a bar running right here, so there's nothing on the sides. And I was having problem with this corner sticking out like a lot, right? So I I put a little screw in just to hold it down, but I'm gonna staple where I have these lines. It's gonna be staples to keep it together. I'll probably end up doing it on all the seams, but definitely need it there the slightest little bit, but I want it to be perfect. And then I put this down, and I had the foam board under, I had it beefed up, a bunch of spray foam, and then it wasn't level over here, like at all. So I took all the screws out, I took it out again, and I shaved down that side, I shaved all this, shaved the edges, put it back in. I bolted it down, it's really good over here. It's pretty perfect up until this point, and then here's not bad, but right here, if I stand here, I can feel it bowing. It's not major, but I can feel it. And then over here, it was pretty bad, but I put the spray foam under, like through here and into the edges. As you can see, it's rise out quite a bit. I have these bricks on it to hold it level. Let's see if I take this off. That's just about as perfect as one could hope. So that worked out nicely because this was not, they were not meeting each other properly or before, so like it still moves a tiny bit when I step on it, but like I said, I'm gonna put staples in and try and keep it as secure as possible. But it's only really moving because there's not really anything in this area. Like basically here there's like pretty much nothing, so I'm gonna have to put probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a 5 dice pattern hole, drill in and really just empty almost a full can in there probably. This is where I started, obviously, and this is truly amazing. I couldn't ask for better connection here, so I might put another one in here just because, you know, might as well. I still haven't put this in. Haven't made the cut for it even yet, so that'll have to get done later or something, whenever I can, really. And might need to add a little bit more here. Here's pretty good. Here's pretty good. I'm gonna let it harden fully before I start pushing on it all types of crazy. But overall, that's pretty much the update now. I've just been marking kind of where I need to add some spray foam. Let's do probably right here, and then right here, and then there, and there. So there's the pattern that I'm gonna drill. Fill this thing up as much as I possibly can, without it like starting to buckle the other way, because there's no screws over there or here or here. It's just here. There's nothing for me to screw it into, so I'm gonna staple this. That's kind of free form stuff over there, and it's level now. It wasn't before, so I'm happy with that. You can see how like much lower it is now compared to before with the old subfloor, because you can see all of what didn't get painted, right? So this would have slid under there like it did here, but there was no gap there, so I couldn't really do that, unfortunately, because I feel like that would have solved some of my problems. But overall, it's pretty good. Once I get the staples in, I feel like it'll make a big difference as well. And I still have to get this screwed down. It was giving me a bit of a hard time, but these little ones here aren't in yet. But that won't take me much time. So essentially, the subfloor is in. Well, it is in. I just have to make some modifications to the spray foam underneath. It's really unfortunate in this area they didn't spray it thick enough. It's kind of sad. It was pretty low there, like ½ inch maybe, so I'm not happy about that, but everything else was perfect, so I deal with it. Alright, it's the next day and the foam has had the chance to harden, and I had those bricks on it. I shaved it already, but it's pretty much perfect now. It's actually slightly lower here when it used to be up pretty high. It's almost exact the whole way. Right here, this is slightly lower, and then it evens out again, and then right here, this is slightly lower. So it's a bit of a funny situation. But once the underlayment's on and stuff, I don't think it'll matter. It'll definitely even it out. But the thing is, the edges don't really move at all. Like, they're strong. Look at that. Tell me that's not perfect. You know? That edge is unbeatable. It's too good. So yeah, I'll probably honestly leave the underlayment off until I get everything repainted. Like over there, you can see at the bottom it's all ripped up. That's where the old floor was, and there's a bit of overspray from the original spray foam insulation that I had them put in. You can see that it's kind of green, so I'm gonna have all that sanded off a bit before I repaint. Honestly, I'm just gonna repaint all of this, lower edges, all the bottom, some parts that need to get touched up higher, like just little stuff like that, but everything low I'm just gonna fully repaint. Okay, so as you can see now, the subfloor is fully finished. We've got everything screwed down. We've got all of the low spots filled up. It's all hardened. We've got the cracks joined. You know, everything is really as good as I could have hoped for. Super strong, very, very sturdy, like so good. I wish you guys could come and walk on this with me because it's night and day compared to how it used to be. So I'm really thrilled about this, how it turned out, how it leveled out, all of these things. So as you guys know, this at one point was a problem. It's now just about perfectly level. Once I get the underlayment on, I think it'll make a big difference as well in terms of really smoothing this out. I cut it and then I added a bit more just in some little gap areas just so it's perfectly level there. You don't have to worry about little holes. Same with over there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have getting this new flooring in. This was a big project and getting it over with is really satisfying. Just coming in under $800 for this flooring installation, but it's worth every dollar in my opinion. So it's super strong, it's really sturdy. So once the new flooring is in, the underlayment's about $100, and my flooring was about $400 or $500. I can't really remember exactly. So it's like $1,300-$1,400 for a full insulation, subfloor, underlayment, and vinyl plank flooring set up in your RV, bus, van, whatever that may be, and this is for 50-ish square feet of space. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of the subfloor installation, getting that spray foam in, cutting the subfloor boards, installing them, screwing them into the new framing after I had the new channels welded in, and leveling it all out, finishing it off, painting the boards. It's been quite the project. I wouldn't say it was too labor intensive installing it. Getting the old one out, much harder. So if you're starting from scratch and you don't have a subfloor, this is an amazing option for you to go. If you're having to remove an old one, I also still recommend this method. It's super solid. I can really feel the difference when I'm walking on it. It's so much sturdier, it's less noisy, there's no creaking, there's no like give in the floor at all. It's like I'm standing outside on the road. It's super solid. The only time anything moves is when the shocks move from the impact of me jumping or whatnot, but it's super solid. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if that's the case, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and commenting, letting me know if you enjoyed the video, what things you may have learned. If you're going to do this as well, I'd really love to hear if you plan on using this method in one of your builds. And yeah, it's just been really fun. I'm happy to have a floor in here again. I can walk freely, continue getting projects done on the inside. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. This took me of continuous work probably 3 days, maybe, yeah, about 3 days. So if you're planning on doing it, you can expect something similar about that if you're working at the same pace as as me and the same amount of hours and have the same amount of skills or lack of. And yeah, it's been a blast. I really enjoy doing projects like these, so it's been fun. It was a little expensive, but I think it was worth it. And you know, now I've got a really solid floor and I can have peace of mind that everything is going to be airtight, watertight, strong. There's new steel channel welded into the existing frame, so adds more support, torsion of the cabin and all things like that. So I'm really excited about continuing, you know, getting things dialed in and eventually having the new floor on, which will be coming relatively soon, within the next I'd say month and a half. I think I could get it in. It's just a matter of me finishing the shower and then doing touch-ups, getting the backsplash in, and then once the ceiling is up, which is relying on me finishing the roof, then I'll be putting the floor in, and then I'll be essentially finished on the inside. So yeah, getting the ceiling in is really like the next biggest project that I have on the inside, as well as the bathroom. So if you want to see how I'm gonna plan on installing my tongue and groove cedar boards in the ceiling and building a whole shower stall and everything from scratch, definitely stay tuned. And without further ado, as always, remember to keep loving your heart, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.